Over the past weekend, Trump went nearly silent on social media, a rare occurrence for someone who once turned Twitter into his personal political stage. With only a brief post about TikTok in an ambiguous tone, he left many wondering whether he's losing his grip. Meanwhile, Trump's approval rating, according to Gallup, has plummeted to 43%, with over 53% of Americans expressing dissatisfaction, the lowest figure since his first term. Some argue this is the inevitable result of unfulfilled promises, from economic policies to government reform, but others see it differently. Could this be a new tactic, a strategic retreat before a stronger comeback? From an economic perspective, Trump's tariff policies are facing fierce criticism. With a 25% tax imposed on imported cars and parts, prices in the U.S. have soared, pushing inflation to 2.8% over the past year, the highest in over a year. Experts warn of the risk of stagnant growth, a dangerous mix of stagnant growth and runaway inflation, a phenomenon unseen since the 1970s. Americans are feeling the pressure acutely. According to a CBS/YouGov poll, 76% say their income isn't keeping up with rising costs. While Trump relaxes at Mar-a-Lago, many are left asking, does he truly care about the struggles people are facing? Yet not everyone views Trump negatively. His supporters argue that his image is being distorted by the media. They point out that Trump still commands a large, loyal following, ready to contribute to campaigns like his recent email offer of a free round of golf at Trump International. However, even within the Republican Party, doubts are growing. Virginia's Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears recently sparked controversy by saying job losses are normal, despite widespread backlash from citizens affected by Trump's policies and the Department of Government Efficiency, which he backs alongside Elon Musk. In March 2025, the United States stands at a crossroads, fraught with uncertainty, where political, economic, and social issues intertwine to create a picture that is both complex and troubling. Donald Trump, one of the most polarizing figures in modern political history, seems to be facing the greatest challenges of his leadership career, from plummeting approval ratings and a faltering economy to political scandals and international isolation. Americans are asking, what is really happening to their country, and who will be held accountable? According to the latest Gallup survey, approval for Donald Trump has dropped to 43%, while more than 53% of Americans express dissatisfaction, a record low since his first term, 2017 to 2021. This isn't just a dry statistic, it reflects a profound shift in the psyche of American voters. Many attribute it to unmet promises, from making America great again to overhauling the government and boosting the economy. Instead, people see an administration criticized for inefficiency and internal chaos. To understand this fully, we need to look at the broader context. The America of 2025 is more polarized than ever. Trump's base, often conservatives in rural areas and the working class, still sees him as a symbol of resistance against the Washington elite. They argue that his dip in the polls stems from a coordinated attack by liberal media and Democrats. On the flip side, critics say Trump has failed to address the practical issues Americans care about: jobs, cost of living, and national security. Is this the sign of a leader losing influence, or just a temporary chapter in a long political saga? On the economic front, the U.S. is grappling with challenges unseen in nearly half a century. Trump's tariff policies, particularly the 25% levy on imported cars and parts, have driven inflation to a staggering 2.8% over the past year, the highest in over a year. The core PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, jumped 4% in February, raising fears of stagflation, an economic slowdown coupled with uncontrolled price hikes. This is something America last endured in the 1970s, and now it's back as a stark warning. A CBS/YouGov survey reveals that 76% of Americans feel their incomes are not keeping pace with inflation. Skyrocketing prices for food, fuel, and housing have pushed many middle-class families into financial distress. Economists are locked in heated debate. Some criticize Trump, arguing that his protectionist policies have harmed consumers and disrupted global supply chains. Others defend the tariffs, asserting they are necessary to protect domestic jobs and reduce reliance on China. Regardless of who's right, the reality is that the Federal Reserve, Fed, is caught in a bind, unable to lower interest rates due to inflation, yet hesitant to raise them for fear of stunting growth. The American people, particularly the working class, are bearing the cost of this deadlock. While the economy teeters, political scandals are deepening the public's distrust in the Trump administration. One of the most shocking incidents involves Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth bringing his wife, a former Fox News producer, to classified NATO and Ukraine meetings. This breach of security protocols has not only violated regulations, but also raised doubts about the professionalism of Trump's team. It doesn't stop there. The Department of Government Efficiency, backed by Trump and Elon Musk, has been accused of firing scores of federal employees, including veterans, and weakening essential public services. Critics label this an administrative coup, accusing Trump and Musk of prioritizing personal interests over the nation's well-being. Supporters, however, see it as an attempt to drain the swamp, a promise from Trump's 2016 campaign. Whichever perspective prevails, there's no denying that these moves have heightened tensions in American society, where people are increasingly anxious about the government's stability amid a time of crisis. On the legal front, Trump is facing repeated setbacks. Several of his executive orders have been struck down by judges, including those appointed by Republicans. For instance, law firms Jenner and Block and Wilmer Hale secured injunctions against Trump's policies, while the Signalgate scandal, involving the use of the Signal app for official communications, was ruled a violation of the Presidential Records Act. These defeats not only erode Trump's credibility, but also call into question his ability to govern effectively. Internationally, the situation is even grimmer. Canada, under Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, has declared an end to its special relationship with the U.S., while Europe has strengthened its own alliances and invited Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to join discussions. This isolation has left many Americans worried about their country's global standing. Some argue that Trump sacrificed alliances for his America First agenda, while others see it as the inevitable outcome of a shifting world order, where the U.S. is no longer the sole center of power. Amid this turmoil, the media plays a pivotal role in shaping public perception. The Midas Touch Network, led by Ben Meiselas, has emerged as a new force, outpacing traditional outlets in its criticism of Trump. They've branded him a national wrecking ball, accusing him of living lavishly at Mar-a-Lago, while Americans grapple with hardship. The Dow Jones plunging 700 points following a hot inflation report further bolsters their case. But the media isn't one-sided. Fox News and other conservative outlets continue to defend Trump, arguing that he's a victim of the left-leaning media. This polarization reflects a deeply divided America, where people disagree not just on politics, but on the very nature of truth itself. Is Trump truly the cause of the crisis, or is he merely inheriting a system that's been fractured for years? Finally, recent events further underscore the chaos under Trump's tenure. The near collision between a Delta plane and an Air Force jet near Arlington serves as a stark reminder of the risks in federal oversight. Vice President J.D. Vance's failed visit to Greenland, where no one showed up to greet him, became a laughingstock on social media. Meanwhile, Virginia Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears' comment that job losses are normal sparked outrage among workers affected by the DOGE policies. The year 2025 is proving to be a crucible for the United States. Donald Trump, with all his charisma and controversy, stands at the eye of the storm. To some, he's a symbol of failure, a leader who has lost the trust of the people. To others, he remains a beacon of hope for dismantling an outdated system. But above all, what's unfolding isn't just about Trump. It's about a nation struggling to rediscover unity and stability. Amid a faltering economy, political turmoil, and a shaky global standing, Americans, from rural towns to urban centers, are waiting for an answer. Can their country weather this storm?